Hello, everybody. This is Unchained Saga, and you are listening to the Backlog Gamers podcast.
Hey, welcome back to another episode of the Backlog Gamers podcast. I'm your host, HaloTitan, joined by my friends today, FableTrek, RagePB, and Unchained Saga over there in the corner. Today, we are going to be discussing first-person shooters. Everybody loves them. Well, I guess I shouldn't say everybody, but lots of people love them, so we wanted to discuss them. But before we hop into that, I want to check in with you guys. How you guys doing today?
How's it going?
It's going good. Life's good.
You guys always seem so chipper.
I just like that. Ladies first, man. I wait for Rage to come in with the energy, and then she doesn't, and then I'm just disappointed.
Oh, wow.
My life has been phenomenal because I got to see you lovely people over the weekend. For those of you who don't know, Titan and Rage are siblings and don't live near us cool people. But they came down over the weekend for a graduation party, and we got to hang out. It was a really good time.
I would argue that you two don't live near cool people.
Well, as the oldest one in the group, I can say I got here first.
So we're killing it.
Did you just say you're the oldest one in the group?
Yeah, as the oldest one in the group, I set the precedent, and I was here first. So,
all right, Benjamin Button. I have been.
I have 3 weeks left to live.
Oh goodness!
Oh my gosh! Not many video games getting played around the old FableTrek house recently, just because we have been busy with graduation week the last week, so that was crazy. I did play some. Let's see, finished Gears of War 3.
We did.
Some nerds that I know.
Yeah.
Finally.
Gosh, I mean, honestly, it is so exhausting having to carry all my nerdy friends through that game.
All the back problems.
I am a hero, so I just kind of, shouldered the brunt of that and went for it. Also been playing some Star Trek Resurgence. This is the game that I play for the hour I wait for everybody to get on to play video games when they tell me they're ready to get on. And so I've been making some headway on that one.
That's the girlfriend.
And since, yes. And in Star Trek Resurgence, my girlfriend has gone crazy. So we're figuring out what to deal with her. But I did manage to give Unchained Saga a clear prediction, a very detailed prediction of the entire plot line of the entire game. I'm pretty sure I'm right, but in fairness, I've also seen hundreds and hundreds of Star Trek episodes and numerous times over years and years, so it may be unfair.
Predictable show, not worth watching. Got it. All right, well...
when you find out you nail this 3-year-old game's ending, they might have to hire you.
Wow, and that was the end of the Backlog Gamers.
And it just like that, gang. It was a good run.
Hey, look, you're sitting here spinning fables about you carrying everybody in Gears. I like that. I don't know, man.
I mean,
you definitely carried me.
There's some truth around here.
That was a 3-person job there, Rage.
Yeah. Wow. Is it because I'm a woman?
I don't. It's because you kept going down. We're like, we're making really good progress on this, and all of a sudden,
if there was a competition on who went down the most,
it was definitely Saga.
Yeah. It was not even remotely close to me.
Oh
I was on it. I was
guys, I'm going down this way. Guys, I'm going through here. Guys, I'm down. I need help.
No.
Res me.
That's
hey,
fair that was the quote of the
Put
game.
it on a t-shirt. It worked. Okay. Look, listen, I was going to be humble. I was the hero, and we all know it. My call-outs were on point, baby. I was running that show. No, I don't know.
I feel like anybody listening and watching, they get a good grasp of the truth that I spouted just a few minutes ago.
I did a lot of heavy work there too, brother. I think
we can all agree on.
Let's just. I'll give Rage PB some credit there, because when we were fighting that Lambent Berserker,
Look at her.
got to a point where Saga was getting so frustrated or bored or something that he just started dropping grenades at his feet.
That
like,
wasn't
"Oh,
that session.
Rez,
That was every other session. What do you mean?
Res. Every time, and then he gets smashed by the Berserker while he was down. Yeah, it was fun. I'm glad we did finish Gears. I'm excited to play Gears 4 and 5 with you guys, but the difficulty is going to still be difficult. So
yes, but all of Gears are third-person shooters, and today we're talking about
first-person shooters. I was going to say I haven't really been playing a whole lot outside of gaming with you guys, but I have been slowly working my way through Claire Obscure's Expedition 33. And I'm looking forward to getting back into it when I can get some free gaming time.
Stellar. It's a great game.
It's been pretty good so far.
I've heard nothing but bad things.
Game.
The best invention the French have made since baguettes, undoubtedly.
Oh, oui. No.
Oh, oui, croissant. Yes.
We continue. All right. So, well, mentioning third person or Claire Obscure game fantasy. What are
you saying?
Where did Rage just left us too? I'm not
what
sure
did you
what
just
happened
say?
That's what you get for slandering whatever it was you just said.
My gosh, this guy! Every time someone says something bad about Claire Obscure, people start disappearing from the group.
There's something going on. I don't know.
I was going to say, with Claire Obscure being the topic right now, it's a great segue to our topic today: first-person shooters. Oh wait,
what?
No. Anyways, we are going to segue over to first-person shooters. Claire Obscure is not one of those, but I just kind of wanted to talk. We've kind of been on this kick where every last episode we talked about great sci-fi games that don't necessarily take place in space. I think we did platformers. We've got a list that we're going to go through, but today I wanted to talk about first-person shooters because it's just not necessarily a specific type of first-person shooter, just shooters in general. Mm-hmm. So, what kind of first-person shooter games did you guys first get started out on? And what to you makes a good first-person shooter game, and what makes a bad first-person shooter game? Let's take our episode and discuss this.
I mean, the obvious first one that I got into was Halo, but that's because that's the one that came out like when we were young and when we were getting started gaming. I mean, I remember skipping class once and getting caught for going to a friend's house to play Halo instead of going to class because it was so exciting and popular at the time. I guess you know what, and that's not fair. You're right, Saga. We can go even before that. GoldenEye 007.
007, that's the one.
Yeah. GoldenEye was peak. Like, I mean, just blew the doors wide open for first-person shooters. Yeah. Because, I mean, we played that game like crazy. Obviously, I didn't have it, but my friends did, and we definitely played it at their house. And, oh my gosh, I mean, we would have whole parties where we would go, and we would play GoldenEye, setting up matches against each other, running around through events, and murdering each other in the bathroom stalls.
Big head mode turned on.
yeah, exactly.
I have to say, before I ever did play 007, GoldenEye 007, Turok 2 was really the first person shooter I had gotten into. We would play it on the N64 with our uncle and our cousins, and just spend hours in our grandparents' basement, just running around, killing each other, having a blast. Never played the single player campaign of that. Just ran around and got to kill each other with all the cool guns and the different maps. I just remember, we all really had a good time with it. But I played games when I was around people who had consoles and computers that had games on them, because we didn't really have that in our house a lot until later in our teenage years. But I will say that when Halo came out, that is when I started working, saved up, bought my own Xbox just to play Halo. Halo's probably the first game in general, not necessarily the first-person shooter, that really got me into gaming on a regular basis. So I would say Turok 2 is the first. Obviously, GoldenEye piqued my interest in it, and then Halo kind of took the reins after that.
What about you, Saga?
You're the young gun.
You're Benjamin Button over here.
Yes,
so,
there I was in 1872 when General George Washington said, "Look, son, you give me a gun." And I said,
a year after
I was born, yes.
He was.
That's 1872.
I'm not good at history, man. My first, I don't know. I have a terrible memory. Unironically, I think the first shooter that I know I poured like my life into, I've talked about it before, was Modern Warfare 2. Undoubtedly, the levels,
great game,
the feelings you got. Price is just one of the most iconic video game characters of all time. I love that game. I was playing it again just the other day just to relive the Spec Ops missions a little bit. So much fun.
Rage, can you pull up the videos of the games on this episode?
Yeah, Rage. Yeah. Play the
and maybe let us know what your first real experience with first-person shooters was, if you can.
Yeah.
We know what she's going to say, though. And then Saga's going to get really upset.
My brother, HaloTitan, got me into Halo.
From Halo, actually, the first person shooter game I ever played was Star Fox, and I'm sure many of you probably played it. The arcade game.
Here's the debate. It's not first person, but there's a gun.
Star Fox.
Which great game series. I really do wish that they'd kind of revamp it a little bit. Sorry, that's off topic, but yeah.
Star Fox was dope.
Star Fox was cool.
Yeah.
Really crappy reimagining.
But weren't you in a plane, like a jet or a plane the whole time?
Yeah, it's third person in your gadget the entire time, so not a first person shooter.
Yeah, I don't think that fits the genre.
Well, actually, hold on. The original might have been first person.
It's a first person shooter.
Is it really?
Actually, yeah, I think you get a nose view in the originals.
Let us know in the comments. Is Star Fox a first person shooter?
Yeah, that's going to be debatable. What list are you looking at? Oh my gosh.
I gotta, you know what? I have to look that up right now while you guys.
According to the earliest images, it is the third person, but I do know that there's at least one game where you get like a nose view, I want to say.
Interesting. I don't know about
like looking out of the cockpit, kind of, sort of.
Oh, that is a great game, though.
I mean,
a great game.
I'm showing here it's classified as a rail shooter.
It's undoubtedly a rail shooter. I was just saying, I thought there was one that did it from.
But we're talking from the first person perspective. Games like Call of Duty and
Google lied to me.
And old Medal of Honor back in the day. Man.
Medal of Honor back in the day.
Love Star Fox though.
I think I still have Medal of Honor actually.
Good old Medal of Honor was amazing.
Medal of Honor was a good one. Out of Medal of and I'm talking old school here, not any of the newer stuff, because clearly Call of Duty's been the most successful. But back when those Call of Duty, Battlefield, and Medal of Honor were kind of coming up.
When they were all kind of duking it out for supremacy.
What was your go-to?
I would say mine was Call of Duty. I think, in fairness, a lot of people's was Call of Duty, which is why it kind of stood the test of time. And
true, yeah.
Although I think Battlefield is so stinking awesome. I love the fact that they bring all sorts of amazing stinking vehicles and other things in there that you get to really play with. But Medal of Honor was awesome back in the day too. I remember when they revamped Medal of Honor and the Medal of Honor came out, and there was all this debate over okay, well now we're actively in this war on terror, and you make the people play in the arena against each other, and you have to play as the terrorists. And I remember going, this is a terrible decision.
Wait, were the Germans?
Yeah.
Wait a second. The Call of Duty did that too, though.
Yeah.
It especially when they were doing the historical fiction parts of Call of Duty before they started running out of ideas and having to branch out to make their own futuristic stuff, which I'm glad they did, because a lot of those games I feel like are some of my favorite Call of Duties.
Yeah.
It makes me wonder: do a lot of first-person shooters popular? But do people prefer? Do people want a good story out of a first-person shooter? Is that something that's kind of needed to make it good, or is it just a multiplayer experience that what keeps bringing people back?
Well, that's kind of the trappings of the broad topic, right? Is that for me, like I don't care for multiplayer games at all. You'd never catch me in Overwatch unless you held a gun to my head again. But like, yeah, I love
Overwatch tonight.
hard pass. No, I'm dead that day.
Marvel Rivals.
Third person. The stories have the capability of being phenomenal. Like what works with the Black Ops games so well is that it puts you in the shoes of things that may kind of sort of be what's happening, and then you get this heartbreaking, wrenching tale. Like Modern Warfare 2, I remember genuinely being like that one scene that just flashed across the screen where the EMP hits and you're looking out the helicopter and all your buddies are getting mowed down and you're like, holy, am I going to live? It's burned into my memory. It's baked in there. And that's all kind of on the story.
I'm on the same level as you there, Saga, because I for the longest time I've played almost every Call of Duty there is out there, but just the campaign. I don't typically get involved with the multiplayer aspect. I have played a lot of Call of Duty multiplayer. Never been a huge fan, and that could be coming from I used to play, almost exclusively Halo multiplayer. And you get shields and stuff, so it takes a while for people to shoot you and kill you. But in Call of Duty, a good headshot will do the trick.
And I don't. But that's the thing. Like, I think it's not all about the story with shooters, first person shooters, because and there are games that try to give you a really good in-depth story, but like the things that shine are maybe not necessarily the story. Like, for example, Destiny has this really robust lore and background lore for this really robust world, but probably the best thing about Destiny is how smooth it was, like how good it felt to go and jump on different planets with the different gravity and then flip through different zones and turning and shooting in these corridors. It was just like so smooth, and it felt so good compared to a lot of shooters when it first came out, that it was like, oh man, this became the new the new bar, right? For shooters. Shooters had to, okay, we got to get this fluid or better.
Not flop.
Well, and it's funny, every time we load up Destiny, that's the first thing we tend to like start commenting on about, like, oh man, this game is so smooth. This is like the smoothest first-person shooter ever. It just, it's a perfect fit every time. No matter if you're good or bad at it, it just feels comfortable and fun. Destiny does that very well. I think they designed the shooter aspect of that pretty well. Is that one? I do know there's some third person in Destiny. Is that just when you're on the glider thing?
Yeah, classically it's first person. But you know what that makes me think of, right? Is a smooth first person with no story at all is Super Hot. Have you guys experienced Super Hot?
I have.
Played the game in VR. What a phenomenal take on just a tried and true genre, and just adding in such a cool mechanic, man. I don't think there's any story in that game, or like there's some weird like pseudo conscious, they're watching you, whatever. Just in terms of feeling, that moment where you're like seeing a bullet come at you and you're like, so good.
And he's all in VR doing it, like.
I put a hole in a wall because I was like, fling a gun, and I punched the wall. It was really bad. It's just it's one of those few games. Like, I'm a very story-based gameplay guy. I typically will never get into a game if there's no story, but that is a game that I'll happily go back to right now and play through again because of how unique the feeling of it all was.
Well, and then that's another thing, is there is a variety in first person shooters. Like, one of the game franchises that I really enjoyed, that where their story is just, like this, is Sniper Ghost Warrior. And that's a franchise I've played all the first 3 games at the very least, all the way through, and the experience, the feeling of it as you go and you try to find the right spot and you try to be stealth, because some of these other games were running and gunning in some of them, and but in like Sniper Ghost Warrior, you're up at like finding the best position, and then you're setting up, and then you're trying to decide which enemies you're going to want to shoot first, because you got to find the if I shoot that one, that guy's going to see him, and then you got to find the order of everything. So there's all sorts of different like mechanics that you have to consider when you're doing something like Sniper Ghost Warrior versus something like Destiny, where you're changing guns constantly, and different guns do different things. But in Sniper Ghost Warrior, you got a few different guns, but the real thing is trying to find the right moments to. There's some horrible graphics in Sniper Ghost Warrior. Definitely some gruesome stuff, but again, it's a different experience. Like you take some shots in Sniper Ghost Warrior, and your bullet, you follow your bullet in slow motion through all the way through, right? So it's kind of interesting. It's a different feel, like Saga was saying.
Is Sniper Ghost Warrior the same series as Sniper Elite, or is that a different?
Two different.
Sniper Elite's the one where you get a snipe off Hitler's another
junk. Yeah.
Great games.
Which is what everybody wants to do.
I was going to say, and the 4 of us are kind of looking for a new 4-person game to play. One that we could definitely do, as long as everybody has it, is Left 4 Dead 2. It's such that one.
Another different feel.
That one doesn't have. It does have a multiplayer, but it's not like a shooter multiplayer that you would think. But that one is such a classic shooter to me. Running through slaying zombies with your pals, and it's relatively difficult to kind of get through the Left 4 Dead campaigns, especially as a whole team on a higher difficulty. I mean, we've had countless hours of fun with this one. Fable.
Oh, yeah. HaloTitan and I have played countless hours of this. Actually, my oldest son mentioned it to me the other day again.
Oh, did he?
He was like, "Yeah, we need to go back and finish the last few movies in it." And I was like, "You're right. That's true." Because
we didn't get through,
there's
I don't think I've ever played this
good ones. It is honestly one of the most fun zombie games.
I think I was thinking of a different game.
Yeah, unless you could find it on disc, Rage, it might have to be a Steam playthrough for us, which I'm pretty sure I have it on Steam.
I'm pretty sure.
Oh, sorry, didn't they just come out with Left 4 Dead 4 last year? Is that right?
No, so they came out with Back for Blood.
Back for Blood, that's what I'm thinking of. Okay.
Back for Blood's one I would bring up for the not so good first-person shooter.
Haven't played any of them.
They did not recapture the lightning in the bottle that they had with Left 4 Dead and Left 4 Dead 2.
I mean, a lot of the stuff is kind of the same. It's made from some people who did work on the original Left 4 Dead games.
It's just there's a campy vibe and a campy feel to it, but it feels so good.
Yeah,
it's fun.
It feels kind of. It can be fun to run through and shoot and do the stuff, but I feel like they tried to add too much with the cards. Yeah, and just going back to your home base at the end instead of it just. Whereas Left 4 Dead was just kind of this fun little, each chapter was like its own movie with credits and.
Yeah, that was the best.
It was just goofy. How many times did Bill die or go down?
Yeah, and who killed the most zombies? Who got the most witches or whatever? Yeah.
And even then, they had different zombie types that really stood out. Like between the smoker,
creative zombies,
the hunter, and the bloated guy. I forgot his name.
The boomers.
Boomers.
And the
and I feel like in Back for Blood,
jockeys,
just that, the jockeys and the chargers and the witches. I feel like in Back for Blood they didn't really capture that as much. They did have different types of infected, but they really just seemed more like monsters. It didn't really feel like you were playing a zombie game at that point. So I mean, I went through and I beat the whole game, but after I got done with it, I was like, No, it wasn't. It's one that I'm not going to go back to, and I don't know what it's missing. I would be interested in knowing what the listeners and viewers might think. I mean, what was your take? If you played Left 4 Dead and Back 4 Blood, what did you think of Back 4 Blood? What kind of stands out for you?
Are we crazy? Are we missing something? Was Back 4 Blood really living up to that, and we just didn't? Maybe we missed it. Maybe we didn't see what you guys are seeing. Let us know. If not, maybe we're right, and maybe it's a pretty common experience for most of us.
Well, it also makes me wonder if we kind of have that Left 4 Dead in our sights, and we're wanting it to be too much like Left 4 Dead. Instead of respecting it for what it is,
Well, and then again, there's another question of okay, when do you just keep creating the same game and bringing out the same game with a new story and new levels?
I think we discussed it over the weekend.
Yeah, like
we were there.
Or do we try to make it groundbreaking and new, and then it's not the same game that we wanted more of?
That's the fine line of balance. Yeah,
it really is. And I kind of want to hear from Rage PB here. I know you said you haven't tried any of these ones, but what kind of first person shooters are standing out for you?
Well, I don't know that I'm like a huge first person shooter fan. I don't know what it is. I've tried.
You love Halo, and I know you love Borderlands.
I do love those too, but I've tried some other ones. Fallout is another one that I've tried that I just didn't love. And I've tried to play The Outer Worlds. That's a first-person shooter, right?
It is.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is it
and
classified as an FPS?
I think so.
If we're going to call Fallout an FPS, yeah. It seems like to me like you've tried a lot of examples of games where the shooting isn't the focus, right? It's the world, it's the lore.
Right,
the first-person shooter is kind of just a mechanic, like Left 4 Dead, Left 4 Dead,
Left 4 Dead.
Left 4 Dead.
It's all about killing and killing zombies.
So that seems like a similar thing, though, right? Where it's like it's not really about the gunplay. It seems like the monsters, the enemies, are the appeal, and like the feeling of like overwhelming terror. I don't know. I haven't played this game, but
it looks like both of those games are classified as action role-playing game. So they're not technically first-person shooters.
Oh, interesting.
And it kind of makes me think because Far Cry 3 is classified as a first-person shooter, and that one's got.
So then, what qualifies a game as what is it exactly that makes a game a first-person shooter?
It's a phenomenal question.
I would think that being in the first-person mode,
first-person point of view.
I honestly, it probably goes back to like the original like Doom and the Wolfenstein. Corridor shooters, kind of, where it literally is mostly about the shooting, whereas like in the Outer Worlds and Fallout, you're kind of going off doing side quests and exploring and actually making decisions that impact the game's story.
What I think would be a phenomenal first-person shooter, heavy focus based game for us all to play is Ready or Not. Have you guys ever heard of this game?
No.
Rage, you'd probably hate it. It's a milsim, and it's very brutal. But it's all about you take control of the SWAT team, or if you play with people, you are the SWAT team, and you're just going in and you're clearing rooms and houses and terminals and whatever map, right? And it's you're just there to shoot people. It's very realistic. It's very brutal. But in terms of like what makes a good first-person shooter, it is this feeling of it's me, it's my gun, and it's life or death. One guy is getting shot in this moment. Oh yeah, it's a very, for me, this is this game has no real story, it has no real bearing. This is one of the most pure. This is what makes a good first-person shooter games for me, and it's just in this essence of the gun is tight, the controls are responsive, it feels good, but it's equal, it's fair, it's life or death, right? It's not some sweaty Call of Duty kid, has put 5 million hours in drop shotting you from an eagle's perch 360 omni movement
because he figured out the one spot that
exactly
into the sky.
So,
exactly. Yeah.
If that's like the definition of a first-person shooter game. I haven't played many outside of Halo and Borderlands. I don't play Call of Duty. I do not play. I played Overwatch 2, and that's solely because I love my brother because I'm right there with Josh. I hate just getting
kind of a hero
murdered, brutally murdered.
Which I think is a different experience. I think a hero shooter is a different experience.
Oh, completely. Hero shooters rely heavily on teamwork and strategies and composition, very much.
Totally.
Yeah.
You know what you should try, Rage? You should try the new Call of Duty campaign. It was one of the more fun campaigns that I've had in a Call of Duty game in about a decade.
You might enjoy the Call of Duty campaign ones, even maybe even Titanfall 2.
Titanfall 2 so much fun.
Yes.
I think all of us love Titanfall 2. Anybody who's played Titanfall 2's story mode loved it.
Titanfall was a blast. Made by the same dudes that created
That's not a Call of Duty game.
No, very different.
It was made by the dudes that created Call of Duty.
Really? Was it a?
It was a
EA owns them.
Yeah, they left their original company and started Respawn, and Respawn did. Titanfall. I would say, look at that. She just brought up Titanfall. It's so good because this one's not just a first-person shooter, though. You get to, it's a mech shooter as well.
And you jump into your mech, and then that's so cool.
Yeah, it's so great.
Robot.
In terms of like on the ground, like ignoring the mech aspect, I feel like Titanfall, the original one, was one of the first ones that really nailed mobility.
Oh yeah,
I'm not
running on the walls
but the feeling of running off the walls, mantling, perching. This, it was just so. I had more fun just running around. The mechs were like
so good.
Sprinkling on top. Yeah,
it was a cherry on top, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I totally agree.
That one's a lot of fun. We can't move on. We have to talk about. I feel like Doom and
Doom Dark Ages,
because those two are like the first like original. I don't know if they were the first, but they were. I mean, when I think original first-person shooters, I think of Wolfenstein and I think of Doom. And I guess more specifically, I didn't get to play the originals on those, but I've always known what they were. I've always seen them played online. So my first real experience with like Doom was like Doom 3. But then Doom 16 was like just incredible. Like one of the best first person shooters ever made, in my opinion. It was so good. And then the reimagined like Wolfenstein as well. So freaking fun to play those games, and they are just really shooter heavy and just action packed. And I mean, just watching the gameplay here, I mean, Doom is just so stinking good here. Just a lot of fun to play. And so I know Saga, you've gotten into this, but Rage, you might consider checking out Doom and Fable. I know you. I don't think you've played either of these new ones, have you?
I've only played the samples.
Really?
Yeah.
I've played through all the new ones. I haven't beaten Eternal or Dark Ages yet, but if you're going to pick one up, I'd heavily recommend 2016. It was just like Titan was saying, just the perfect culmination of what a good Doom game is.
Yeah. I mean, I think the second one was pretty good too. I haven't played Dark Ages yet.
A little too bouncy for me. A little too. I think they went back for a little more like their arcadey routes, and it just didn't land quite as well for me.
Yeah,
personally.
Yeah, and here we got Wolfenstein brought up here, and this one's so good too. It's more, a historical fiction based, but it's so gratifying too. I mean, because that one you can kind of sneak around and stuff too, and Wolfenstein. But I had a lot of fun playing this, and it was very shooter heavy, and just satisfying to get through the game. That I don't think I went through the new Wolfenstein and had any moments where I was just like, oh, this is getting boring. Because, I mean, shooters inherently are the same actions over and over, right? I mean, you're running, shooting,
jumping, shooting, sliding, shooting.
Jumping, shooting, sliding, shooting. It's a lot of shooting. So I think Wolfenstein and Doom 2016 really made shooters fun again for me. The way the original Halo did, where their main focus was on like 30 seconds of fun at a time, over and over and over again. They kind of nailed that in Halo. I feel like they've lost a lot sight in that quite a bit over the years with Halo, but it's just Oh my gosh! What is
What did we just?
Whoa! Really flirting with the family-friendly line today.
It wasn't what
Sorry.
you were thinking it was.
Make a note of that one.
I do kind of want to touch on. We can talk about all the good ones. We never really did cover Far Cry, the newer Far Cries.
I haven't played any Far Cry since like 2.
Far Cry 3. They changed the game. The Far Cry 3, I would highly recommend. Far Cry 4, and I haven't played 5 or 6 yet, but Far Cry 4 wasn't as good. Far Cry 3, definitely check that one out. But I did kind of want to talk about what first person shooter games pop up into your head that are bad. The one I'm thinking of right off the tip of my tongue would be Redfall, and I haven't even played that one yet.
I tried.
Yeah, Redfall.
I tried.
I mean,
talk about
recently failed very epically.
Yeah.
Can I? All right.
Any live service first-person shooter sucks.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, I really tried to play Redfall. I like started it. I was very interested in it. I asked you, Titan. I was like, "Will you play it with me?" And then it came out, and it was like bad review after bad review after bad review of just like not good. And then so I started it, and it was, to me, it felt like clunky. I don't know. Like, it just didn't feel great.
I've heard reports of, the enemies not really fighting back, or just, it just doesn't sound like it was very good. And they even closed the studio down before they could fix it.
That's the worst part. And it was all because Microsoft like forced them to make it a live service game. Arcane has never made it that. They've never made their game. Arcane has a trend. They know what they make, and they make it so well. And so yet to be told basically make a game that you hate, that you have no experience making, was just brutal.
Right. They have a history of great first person shooter games like Dishonored and Prey. Excuse me.
Prey was really fun. Bye, Paige.
those are some really good ones. Do you guys have any other ones that kind of stand out to you as
my gosh
bad?
Okay, I want to talk about one that was really stinking fun to play but was also bad. How about Anthem? Anthem could have been so stinking great. Honestly, there was so much I loved about Anthem.
And what killed that game? Make it a live service. Every time.
The
content will come. The story will come. The balances will come.
Everything outside of flying around as Iron Man. Having to go back to the home base.
Fort Tartarus. Fart tartar sauce, as we called it.
We had to go back separately when we're playing.
And we couldn't even run around together.
Watch all the cutscenes and then hook back up as a group to go play.
What a dumb! Gosh, what a mess. Bad. How about another one? What was Battleborn a first-person shooter?
Battleborn.
I'm trying to remember if it was first person.
Rage should bring up a video of Battleborn.
Oh my gosh, Battleborn! If you guys don't remember this one, it came out right before Overwatch came out. It was a hero shooter.
This has got the mushroom head man.
Yes, it was.
I remember watching this game.
Made by the people who made Borderlands, and so everybody was all excited about it. And then it came out just a few weeks before Overwatch came out. And it came out like right as the Overwatch beta came out, I think is what happened. And then everybody played the Overwatch beta and was like, oh my gosh, this is a gajillion times better than Battleborn. And so everybody went and switched over and played Overwatch instead. And thus Battleborn was killed dead on arrival.
This game's like completely off the shelf now, too. It's not even... Yeah, I don't even think you can load it up and play it anymore.
Honestly, though, it was so fun except until we played Overwatch. And it was like, wait, this is what it could have been. And it was like, never mind.
We put a lot of time into it.
We did. That. Yeah.
But it didn't have the metal. It fell very fast. And I honestly... Overwatch can probably take credit for murdering this game.
Oh yeah, easily, single-handedly.
Because once Overwatch came out, I feel bad because I did convince Fable and another friend of ours to buy it. I was like, let's get the Legendary Edition.
Yeah, he like convinced us to get the big version too. It was like $75 back
the
then.
$75 version. Yeah, we paid
Back when the games were actually only like, I don't know, 50 or something, and we're like,
we did get the Mac Daddy version of that, and then we wound up. I mean, as soon as Overwatch came out, like we were like, oh, I guess we're buying Overwatch, and then we started playing Overwatch.
Never looked back again. Yeah.
Never touched it again.
Oh gosh!
And now it's dead, and I'm probably missing achievements from it, and I'll never be able to get them now because the game is it's gone.
That was another shooter that was bad. Okay, I got one more. I know this is one that I don't like, and I think it may just be a timely thing because the nature of being a backlog gamer is that sometimes you play games years after they come out, and Borderlands, the first Borderlands for me was just awful. It was so awful for me. And now, mind you, I played the first Borderlands, years later after 2 and 3 had already come out, or 3 was about to come out. It was just, gosh, it was rough for me, and it might be one of those ones that just doesn't stand the test of time. Or I did not like it.
That's a rough one. I mean, I still think you should try Borderlands 2. I think you would wind up enjoying Borderlands 2. One of the best villains in video games, in my opinion, with Handsome Jack. And I guess it is kind of tough because some games don't stand the test of time. And I think you may have gotten used to newer games, and this one was just kind of outdated. Even though they did the remaster look for it and re-released it. So I think maybe some of that was taking a toll on you. But I mean, I disagree with that take. I think the original Borderlands was great. I mean, I've got
hot take
dozens of hours in that game.
All right. So what are some of the other bad ones then? Some of the ones that maybe you guys don't like.
This might be a hot take, but Star Wars Battlefront 2, and it's having a bit of a resurgence right now, so I might get flack for this.
Are you talking about the original Battlefront 2?
No, I'm talking about the new one, because the original Star Wars Battlefront 2 was such an experience, man. Going from ship to ship and then outer space, it just made you feel, it was Star Wars. It was so good. And these new ones just felt clunky and gross, and the microtransactions were so predatory, and I was so bummed, man. The only fun part of the game was like force pushing people off as Yoda, and that was like it. And I love that game so much. And it
do you think that's a product of over the years us getting amazing fluid shooters like Destiny, and Call of Duty has only gotten more fluid over the years?
It's too fluid.
Right. Sometimes you're like, holy cow, how did I end up here?
Right.
All
right, so do you think that this is bad because we're getting too used to fluid? Is that the question?
Yeah. Do you think shooters have gotten to the we've gotten to the point where we've gotten so used to fluid shooters that if it's not like pristine fluid movement, then we just won't enjoy it the same?
I don't think so. I think it can be a factor, but I think each game should be unique in its own right, and not necessarily have to rely on being as fluid as some other games. As long as their game works and it's fun to play, I think that should be all that matters.
I think the thing that's killing these games is, just to expand upon it even further, it's live service. It is this mentality that we can put out crap and you're going to buy it anyway, and we'll promise to fix it later, right? Like almost any game we talked about, right? Redfall has exactly that. Destiny Destiny got better because they actually did kind of live up to their word, and they put out a metric ton of DLC. But these games just keep coming on these unfinished messes because everyone wants to be the next Fortnite, and it works. And the sad thing is that these people get money. Right? Like, it doesn't matter how bad the game comes out to reviews. If they get a large enough initial player base, they're printing money, and it's just like Battlefield 2042, terrible game, a buggy, unfinished disgrace that came out of the Battlefield series, and it's still going on. Why? Because people are still giving it money, and it's kind of a little better, but it's this practice, man. It's terrible.
And that could be a good topic for later on down the road with the live service games. The games can be released unfinished now and fixed later. Yep. They don't have to be all set. Like, we could talk about Sea of Thieves coming out. It was not as fun when it first came out, but then, the game is chock full of content now. It's got a ton of stuff that I wish was in it when it released, but I don't want to dive too far down that road here.
These guys are diving.
I don't want to dive too far down that road here just yet, because we do have to wrap it up here. I do want to thank everybody for tuning into this episode of the Backlog Gamers podcast. Be sure to follow us on Twitter, Twitter. I always forget the TikTok, Instagram. That's it. Those are the big ones. Yeah. And YouTube at Gamers Backlog. It's Backlog Gamers backwards. Gamers Backlog on all of those places. And if I can pass the mic to my co-hosts here, what are the plugs you guys would like to throw out?
Yeah, if you guys are big readers as well, I know myself and HaloTitan are huge readers, and Rage definitely reads books as well, and Saga definitely reads as well. But I know HaloTitan and I are constantly it's constant. But anyways, point is, if you guys are big fantasy fans and you want to check out some of my fantasy books, I've got 6 of them out now, going on 7. I don't know. I'm starting to lose count at this point. I've got a lot of books out. So if you want free, check out free stories to kind of help you get into some of my fantasy worlds, definitely check out freefantasyfiction.com.
Rage, Saga, you guys got some plugs?
I was waiting for Rage. I should probably stop waiting for Rage.
If you want to reach Rage, be sure to comment on our videos, because she does comments.
Show up to her house under the guise of a Domino's pizza delivery man.
Bad names.
All right, be nice when you leave comments.
Be nice. Do call me bad names. I'm a family-friendly podcast.
If I see one more woman comment with the teacup, I'm going to lose my mind. Like, grow up.
Sorry, that was me. I have nothing yet. Next episode, I will probably have plugs because I'm working on something now. But as for now, you cannot find me anywhere. Good.
Well, you guys can find me on YouTube at HaloTitan, on Twitch, twitch.tv/HaloTitan, and Twitter at HaloTitan as well. We want to thank you guys again so much for tuning into this episode, and we'll catch you on the next one. Peace.
Bye-bye.
Bye.